So have you ever wondered, why do I poop so much and what is considered normal? Well, in this video today, I'm going to tell you exactly what is considered normal. You may be surprised. What is a normal bowel habit? What should it look like? Why do you poop so much? And if you wait to the very end of the video, I'm going to give you my recommendations on when you really need to worry about your poo. Guys, let's literally talk about poo. Howdy y'all, Dr. Samir here, aka your gut guru, trying to give you the best tips and tricks to help out with your health. If you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button, like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to sign up for my weekly newsletter. I'll put a link down below where you get more great information on what you can do to help out with your gut health. So everybody obviously has a bowel movement. It's something we live with every single day. But a lot of people question me and say, hey, Dr. Islam, am I going normally? Is the number of times that I'm going a normal number? Very good question, and it's a very hard question to answer. So we have a medical definition of normal. This is very different than what I think is normal, but the medical definition of normal can range from as often as 3 times per day to as few as 3 times per week. Can you believe that? That's such a wide range. Well, that is considered the Goldilocks zone for pooping. 3 times per day, up to as even 3 times per week. But here's my suggestion on how you should think about poo, because so many people are obsessed about the number. I can't understand this, but I also have people in my family who always, when I was younger, told me, hey, did you poop today? Did you go to the restroom today? The number is really not the most important thing about bowel habits. The most important thing is, how do you feel? Are you in any pain? Do you have any discomfort? Because I can tell you, for my patients, if I have somebody who goes 3 or 4 times per day, but they don't feel good, they don't feel like they're clean, they feel like something's still in there, then they're still having bowel issues. I have other patients who go maybe once or twice per week, and they feel great because they got everything out, they have no discomfort at all in between. Not a big deal. So focus on the symptoms and not the pain. Here are the questions you need to ask yourself when you're talking about your bowel habits. Number 1 is, are you happy? Are you proud of those bowel habits? Are you proud of that bowel movement? Does it make you smile? Little ching. That is what you need to ask yourself. Are you happy with that? Does it seem okay? Question number 2 is, are you in a lot of pain? Because if you're not, it doesn't matter what the number is. It's not a big deal whatsoever. But also question number 3, if you go to the restroom, are you satisfied with everything that's coming out? Do you feel completely emptied out? Do you feel like there's still more in there? Because if you don't feel completely emptied out, you may be going 4 or 5 times per day, but you could be having constipation. Yes, constipation as your main problem, despite going frequently. So what does a normal poo look like? So we actually have a scale. Yes, in GI, we have a poop scale, which you can Google and look at. That scale goes from 1 to 7, with 1 being very hard, very tight, pellet-like bowel movements, with 7 being almost water. The best bowel movement that you can have, the golden poo, the magical poo, is a Bristol scale number 4. Yes, 4 is the magical poo, the golden poo, the awesome poo, the poo king. It is like the Greg Louganis of poo. It is long. It is brown. It has a little bit of splash, and it goes down smoothly, and you feel so happy. Yay! Yay! Gold medal for my poo. But that is the magical poo that we're all aiming for. But what if you're going too much? What can you do, and what can be the causes for that? There are 7 main causes for going to the restroom too frequently. Number 1 is diet. If you eat like crap, you're gonna poop like crap. Very simple and straightforward, just like that. There are a lot of foods that are not good for our GI tract. Processed foods, fatty foods. For some people, it could be dairy. For some people, it could be other wheat products or carbohydrates. But the more bad things you put inside your body, the worse it's gonna be for your gut, and the more often you're gonna use the restroom. Reason number 2 for literally number 2 for going number 2. Oh my gosh, I just thought about that. Is that you actually may be exercising too much. Now, I'm a big proponent when it comes to health and exercise. It's good for your gut, good for your brain, just good overall. But exercise can help stimulate the GI tract. The more you move around, the more you trigger what's called the gastrocolic reflex, which is a reflex between the stomach and the colon to move things through a lot quicker. This is why runners typically have to take a poo And this is why whenever you exercise, you can poo more. And so you may be doing a little bit too much exercise for your bowel habits. Reason number 3 is coffee. Yes, good old coffee. Coffee acts as a stimulant, not only for your mind, but also for your GI tract as well. It moves those contractions along quicker, it moves poop faster, and it causes you to have rapid bowel movements. Reason number 4 is stress and anxiety. Yes, there is a connection between the brain and the gut. Whenever you're stressed, certain hormones get released, and the release of those hormones causes more contractions inside your GI tract. Reason number 5 are medications. There are certain medications you could be taking, including blood pressure medications, antibiotics, that could make it more likely to change your gut microbiome, make your gut microbiome more likely to have bad bacteria, and produce more bowel movements and more problems with your stools. Number 6 are certain food sensitivities. So this is different than eating just a crappy diet. There are certain foods that may be healthy for you, but if you eat them, they can cause a lot of gut issues. Foods like dairy, gluten, and even foods that are high in what are called FODMAPs, which are certain carbohydrates, which are very hard to digest for a lot of individuals. Number 7 is that you actually may have an inflammatory condition causing diarrhea, conditions like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. These are autoimmune inflammatory conditions that very commonly can cause symptoms such as diarrhea, pain, weight loss, and sometimes bleeding. And then lastly, you may have a condition called irritable bowel syndrome, very different from the inflammatory bowel disease. Or IBS is a real condition. A lot of people suffer from this, and there's a lot of reasons why people have IBS, but one of the symptoms of IBS is diarrhea. You may be suffering from that as well. And these are 8 reasons why you could be going to the restroom a lot more frequently than what you like. Having said that, for the vast majority of people, if you have more frequent bowel movements, it's not a big deal. However, there are 7 red flags that I want you to be aware of, that if you have these when you're having more frequent bowel movements, you need to speak to your healthcare provider and make sure you don't ignore them. Red flag number 1 is bleeding. If you see blood in the stool, it is not normal. I do not care what you think it is. I don't want you to assume it's just a hemorrhoid. There are so many patients that I have diagnosed with colon cancer or colon polyps, or what people assumed were just hemorrhoids that were bleeding. Don't do that. Don't make a mistake. If you see blood in your stool, speak to your healthcare provider. Number 2 is black stools. You should not be having black stools, especially if it's tarry. Black stools are a sign of some sort of ulcer that's bleeding inside the upper GI tract that certainly needs to get evaluated. Number 3 is that if you have new pencil-thin stools, if you have very small stools like a pencil, that could be a sign of some sort of obstruction or narrowing inside your gut that has to be evaluated. Number 4, significant weight loss is not normal, especially if that weight loss is not intentional. If you have a lot of weight loss and you had a change in your bowel habits, you need to speak to your healthcare provider. Number 5 is that if you have a family history of colon cancer, especially if it's a first-degree relative, mom, dad, brother, or sister, you need to make sure that you don't have anything growing inside your colon. Number 6, severe abdominal pain. Severe abdominal pain, guys, is not normal. You should not be having a lot of pain when it comes to your bowel habits. If you do, let your healthcare provider know. And then lastly, number 7, any change in your bowel habits over the age of 50 years old is a warning sign for something growing inside your colon. You need to get that checked out. These are 7 things you need to be aware of when you need to see your doctor if you're pooping too much, and make sure, please don't ignore these symptoms. Hey guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. My question of the day for you: what questions do you have about your bowel habits? Comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletter. We can get more gut information. Who wouldn't want to know more about their poo? And thank you for watching. Hope to see you guys on future videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, in this video today, I'm going to tell you exactly what that number is. What else am I doing? You'd be surprised of how wide that range is. It can go from 3 times to... I find this emphasis on that number to be problematic. Excuse me. This scale ranges That's a good question. What does it range? I totally forgot. That is the golden poo, the mastered poo, the master poo, the wonderful poo. God, so much. Now, I'm a big component, and certainly certain sugars like FODMAPs, which are carbohydrates that have a particular component to them. And God, I totally messed it up. We can find out exactly what we can do to scratch that. However, there are 7 red flags. But that is kind of what's more important is how do you feel? Are you in any pain or any more? That's what we should. Golly, that is what you really need. That. God. Question number 2 is. Are you in? Because if you do, if you may be going 4 or 5 times per day, then because if you do, yay, gold medal. But thank you for watching. Helps to see. Golly.